Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports, we connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and educator extraordinaire. Lynda Eisenmann's in the house. Welcome.
Thank you, Ron. Good to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Of course, we celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. We did wake up today on the right side of the sidewalk, so we're excited about that one. National Sunglasses Day, National Parchment Day, Orange Blossom Day. I think we can go a little. That one's not bad. National Sunglasses Day. Are you aware of this one? Because this one's a big challenge. A lot of my friends, we deal with this on a regular basis. I don't deal with it, but know a lot of individuals, and we work hard to try and eradicate it. National PTSD Awareness Day. We are watching out for that one. That's scary, but I did hear recently, looks like in San Diego, they've come up with, there's some folks that have come up with what they believe is going to be a cure for PTSD, a cure for PTSD. That'd be wonderful. Apparently they've isolated the part of the brain where that occurs, and it'd be very fascinating to see if that gets resolved. We're also looking, and we are checking, we've got, of course, you know me, if it has to do with a little bit of food, I will be there. So we're looking at is National Ice Cream Cake Day.
Wow.
Gotta love that one. I can go, it might be a little early, you know, we're broadcasting here a little bit after 9 in the morning on the West Coast. So it might be a little early for ice cream cake, but you know, maybe not.
Not really.
Any time of the day.
Good anytime.
Good any time of the day. All right. Checking out the markets. Dow Jones Industrial Average. We're looking at that one. Up 183 points. Why is that happening? Well, pretty simple. We've got the president acting again. And I'm not saying good or bad, but it looks like they've tempered a little bit of the, or there's some backdoor negotiations going on with China. Looks like we might have some resolution there. I did notice also, this is not good news for the summer season. We drew down on the oil reserves by about 9 million barrels. They were expecting it to be about 2.5 million barrels. What does that mean to you? Well, it means that oil prices are up. We're up $2.23 a barrel right now. I am not going to look at what it means for gasoline because that will not be pretty. We'll continue our discussion on that. We're looking also at the bond market, what's happening in the bond market. We look at the 10-year Treasury. That is our proxy. We'll get into it more in depth later. The U.S. 10-year Treasury yield down a little bit. Bond prices up a little bit. What does that mean for you? Well, mortgage rates should be dropping. That's what that portion of it is. I am really thrilled. And I told you last Thursday, maybe it might have been last Wednesday, when I did tell you that we were looking for a big move in mortgage rates. And how did I know last Wednesday or Thursday that we were going to have a big move in mortgage rates? Well, we look at the charts, and you don't need to understand all this stuff as long as you have somebody that's on your team that's working with you that does understand that we were at a pendant formation, when we got the charts to a pennant formation, we know that we have to jump one way or the other. Now, thank goodness the history tells us when you get to a pennant formation, you're going to generally jump the way the market has been moving, which meant the bond market, the bond prices were going down. Well, we jumped the other way and we went up. We jumped out of the pendant, and then they call it a pendant formation. Have you ever seen the pennants? It looks like a triangle, right? The long triangle. That's what the pendant formation looks like on the charts. Well, right now I'm looking at the bonds. They're at about 101.9. We got some resistance at 102 and then 102.04. So we're right near the top. So we're going to be watching that one for you. Big news if you are a state employee. Holy cow, did you catch that news this morning? That's going to be the news of the day. State employees. Wow, and California, the Ninth Circuit can't even overturn this one because it came right straight from the United States Supreme Court overturning the fair share union fees decision 5-4. So here's what this means for you. If you are a teacher, firefighter, policeman, any kind of a public union employee, you don't have to pay union dues anymore. And even taking it one step further, the unions are going to be forced. You have to be affirmatively request membership. So it's not like you have to opt out. It's you have to opt in. Now, is that good or is that bad? I'm going to suggest to you it's neither. It's not good or bad. What it really will mean for you is, number one, if you're strapped, you're tight on money, you don't have to be part of the union. They can't force you any longer. But what's more important to me is the unions are not going to be strictly a political arm. They're going to have to come to their membership and say, here's the value that I deliver, I being the union, here's the value that we as a union are delivering to you. If the union is not delivering value, then why would you be a member? If they are delivering value, then you should be a member. That's your option, but it's not like you're forced to any longer. That's what this Supreme Court ruling means. They're talking about 300,000 teachers might opt out of union membership. 300,000 teachers opting out of union membership. The case was brought by a teacher in Illinois. I believe he's a teacher in Illinois. He's the one that brought the case to the United States Supreme Court. Be fascinating to see where this goes. And again, it's just a matter of delivering value, not just saying that we want to be on, have a political agenda. And some of the unions, I'm the first to say I'm not a big union fan. But when the unions were started, they were great. They were needed. If you look historically, there were a lot of sweatshops and the membership was seriously being taken advantage of. So there was a great need at that time. Now it's become most of the unions are nothing more than a political action committee, and they force you to pay for their agenda. I like the idea of going back to the early days of unions, if you enjoy the union world, of having them deliver value to their membership. That's just happens to be my opinion, and being that I host the show, I give it all the time. So that's just part of where that comes from. If you are in Orange County, Anaheim, California, very active watching what's going on in the elections coming up. But more important, what's more exciting to me, I just saw across our feed, of course I knew it going in, but Henry DiCarlo will be the Grand Marshal, the co-Grand Marshal of the Anaheim Hills Fireworks Parade. And it's not just for members of Anaheim Hills. Anybody that wants to sit on Santa Ana Canyon Road gets to participate or watch. It's going to be a great parade this year. Are you planning on coming and joining us? So you've got Henry DiCarlo will be one Grand Marshal. Minnie Mouse just happens to be the other Grand Marshal. Have you ever seen the Wells Fargo Stagecoach up close and personal? Now, I haven't, so I'm excited to see that. The Stagecoach will be here as part of the parade. We've got our Gold Star families are going to be participating in the parade, our military, our firefighters, our police department. A lot of drum bands. I think there's going to be 71 entries in the parade. Now, that's a pretty good sized parade, 71 entries. So I'm just suggesting to you, if you got nothing to do at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, come out and join us along the parade route. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 to 3. And then you can go right over to the park for entertainment, Peralta Park. Be, I think, 6 bands this year. And obviously, how do you end up any 4th of July celebration? Yeah, fireworks.
Of course.
So, right? What else would you do? Right?
Fireworks.
Fireworks in the park. And you don't have to worry if you're following the laws. Anaheim Hills, you're not allowed to have fireworks legally. So the issue there that we kind of like is that you have all the fireworks you want, be safe, and you won't have to pay for them. It's about $20,000 just to get fireworks out in the park. So think about that. Come and join us, and you are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, how do you get your real estate purchase offer accepted in a seller's market, in a multiple offer market? Well, we've got our educator in studio, Lynda Eisenmann, broker extraordinaire, going to share with us some knowledge. You've probably seen a seller's market once or twice in your career.
Yes, I have.
So the tips of what a professional will do in this kind of an environment. And I share this with you, and I like to use the term professional because I'm not a big fan of these online services. This is too big a transaction. You can't be going with the onliners, in my opinion. And yes, I do have a real estate license. No, I do not buy and sell real estate. So I'm not coming at it from a self-serving standpoint there at all. What is the median home value in real estate for your state, for our state? And Amazon Prime Day, it's coming up. We'll talk about that as well. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay will be available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. RonSiegelRadio.com in the archive. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher?
If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. Gold Star Mortgage, they are the only ones I know of that have the Fast Pass loan approval, allowing your real estate professional to make their offers same as cash because all the work has been done up front. Close 14 days if you want to. There's some people that do, some that don't. It's all up to you and obviously the seller. So we're looking at the mortgage market right now. What is happening in the mortgage market? We're looking at the bonds. Obviously, I told you in the last segment, the Fannie Mae 30-year bond up 8 basis points, which means interest rates down just a little bit right now. The U.S. 10-year Treasury, the interest rate on that one, 2.85 roughly as we're speaking right now. It's actually, if you want to be technical, 2.849. I don't know that you need to be that technical. And that's where we've been running lately. There are a lot of people going back into the stock market thinking that that's a bit higher. The stocks are higher this morning on news that the U.S. will be less restrictive on Chinese investments in our technology. Originally, President Trump said that the U.S. would restrict foreign investment by China and by executive actions in an attempt to protect our technology. Now the U.S. is planning on using CFIUS to handle the restrictions on China. What is CFIUS? CFIUS is the Committee on Foreign Investment in the U.S., which is an interagency committee of the U.S. government that reviews the national security implications of foreign investment. A little bit easier than all these tariffs we've been talking about. Earlier this morning, the Mortgage Bankers Association reported the mortgage application volume increased by 4.9% last week. Applications to purchase a home were down 6%. We're now up 1.2% from this time last year. I can't tell you how strong this market is because there's still not a lot of inventory out there to purchase. Average 30-year mortgage ticked up to 4.84% from 4.83% in the U.S., roughly 0.75% higher from this time last year. The adjustable rate mortgage share of mortgage activity decreased from 7% to 6.5%. Pending home sales, which measures signed contracts on existing homes, good leading indicator for existing home sales, down 0.5% in May, lower than the 0.4% expected. Put a chart out there on the social media for you later today on that. And you got all the other interesting information in there. But one couple of things you might want to be concerned with or cognizant of when you look at these different markets and where we're going. What does it cost you to wait? Does you ever think about the cost of waiting, right? If you're thinking about buying a new house, what is it costing you if prices continue to go up, if interest rates go up? What is that cost to you for waiting? And if you have any questions about that, I looked at one the other day, a $400,000 purchase was going to cost the person about $300,000 would be the cost of waiting over a 10-year period. Just a thought for you. That's the Mortgage Minute. Again, brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage, the only one with that Fast Pass loan approval. So we chat about a lot of these different issues, and when I look at the Mortgage Minute and I talk to you about home sales and the cost of waiting and the pending home sales and the lack of inventory. We talked about lack of inventory earlier in the week. there becomes a big competition, and I would suggest, I don't go out showing property. We'll ask this to Lynda, but I can only imagine where this really stands. But as a first-time home buyers, we know that number of people dropped a little bit, the percentage of first-time home buyers as compared to repeat buyers. But if you've never done this before, or if it's been 10 years since you've bought a house, do you get a little frustrated making offers and they don't get accepted? I'm not sure that you want to be out there making a whole bunch of offers. And I've heard it from the lending side, leading a lending team, people say, you know something, I don't want to buy, I don't even want to go shopping anymore, I'm just done. I've made 6 offers, I haven't got them accepted. You know, I'll wait and do this some other day. I don't know, is that something that you've experienced? Just a thought. Well, if you have a great professional who's navigated these waters before, are there some tricks or some strategies, I guess tricks is not a good word, strategies to get your offer accepted? Well, let's just ask the guru.
Well, strategies is absolutely right.
Is strategy?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like the term tricks, I guess, because we're not really trying to trick anybody. We just want to make sure that as the person going out showing the property, you know, it's your job to make sure that the client is successful in whatever they're looking to do.
That's true.
Right?
That's true, whether it's a buyer or seller. And it's really about providing information, because buyers and sellers both can make a knowledgeable decision when they have the right information in front of them.
So if you know something, I'm going to suggest, or I'll throw to you, that a lot of the information is out. You know, there's a lot of public information nowadays, right? And you put something in the MLS, you and I were talking before we went live, that you know, you strategically put something on the MLS to make sure that the biggest amount of the population can see that prior to marketing or as part of your marketing strategy. Maximum
exposure.
Right. So, and I know that, like, you have access to 91% of the buyers in the marketplace, right? Because the stats tell us that 91% of the people start their online search or their home search online.
Absolutely.
Right, so you've got access to that if you have a marketing strategy that way. The issue then becomes educating people, not from the stuff that you can get as the freebies, the Zillow and the Trulia, the discount brokers, you know, the Walmarts of real estate or whatever. It's all these other items that we need you for.
I would agree with that. I mean, there's really a lot to it. Just the offer form itself is very complicated. And when you're working with an agent who understands the process, they understand the contract itself, and the contract is what's really important and is a big asset in helping getting your offer accepted, and structuring it properly in the very beginning is really essential.
Now, I just want to throw this out there from one side of it, that if you're a seller, you really, maybe I'll ask you, because maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, right? If you're a buyer or seller, maybe, should you be looking at the contract before you ever start writing one?
Oh, without a doubt.
So from both sides of the table? Both
sides, absolutely. And just so you understand, or maybe your listeners understand, that when I'm working with a seller, the very first time when I sit down with the seller, I actually provide them with a copy of the contract they're probably going to be signing at one time. I have a yellow highlighter. One of the things I review with the seller at the time, and which is very typical, most sellers are concerned with what's the price and how soon am I going to get it. In other words, what is it going to sell for, and what's our escrow length? When do I have to move, or when do I get my funds, or whatever the situation. But there are so many other aspects to consider when you're looking at an offer. So that's when I take out my yellow highlighter, and I actually, you can see this, Ron, I know your listeners can't, some people can who might be watching it, but these are just some of the basic things even on page 1, and this is a 10-page contract.
Right.
This is a document we're going to be living with throughout the transaction process. So
and beyond.
Oh, and beyond is right. Thank you. Good point. Good point.
Yeah, because I mean that's not just a fun piece of paper.
Oh, right.
It's a legitimate contract.
It absolutely is. It's the blueprint you start with.
There you go.
And that's really what we start with. And when we're structuring an offer, what I tell a seller is I know the price is going to be important to you, and I know the time that you're going to have to move is going to be important to you, and it's going to be important to your family. But these are things that I'm looking for when an offer comes in. I'm looking at not just the price and not just the escrow period, but how much money is that buyer going to start out with? In other words, what's that initial deposit? How serious are they? How much money are they willing to put up front to go right into escrow? So
is that a significant item?
It can be. It absolutely can be. This particular offer, the buyer came in with a 3% deposit, which is in my opinion, it's a very strong deposit on a residential property, because the maximum a buyer can lose is 3%. And this buyer was willing to say, and this is an offer that came in 2 weeks ago. This buyer is willing to say, we're serious enough to put up a 3% deposit.
Now you have to ask. I got to ask you one question because I don't know the answer to it.
What?
So the most they can lose is 3%, or the most they can lose is what they put in?
The most they can lose is what they put in, or a maximum of 3% of the purchase price.
So that's a nuance that many people don't know, is that there's a limit, a statutory limit.
Statutory limit. And by the way, it's stated further back in the contract.
Okay.
And it's in bold.
Gotcha. Okay.
But right up front, one of the very first things I'm looking at is the amount of the deposit. And the initial deposit that's going into escrow. And once in a while, you might have a home buyer that might be a little shy and not have quite as much to put down. But there is a way that you can address that also, because you can go with an additional deposit within a certain period of time. In other words, the buyer might start with an initial deposit of less than 3%, and that's quite common. But to show that they're want to move forward and they're serious about their offer, they may put in an additional deposit within 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever the period of time.
So an additional good faith amount of money.
It can be increased, and there's a provision for that in the contract for it to be increased.
Interesting. We're going to continue our conversation with Lynda Eisenmann. Preferred Home Brokers is the name of her company. We're talking about how do you structure an offer to get it accepted? What are some of the strategies that the professionals are suggesting, or I should even say more experienced professionals are suggesting? We're going to talk more about that when we come back. We'll also chat a little about median home value state by state and things to know about Amazon Prime Day. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a on 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years. That same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. So, what's the median home value in your area? If you've entered the real estate market as a buyer or seller, you've inevitably heard the mantra, location, 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 in reference to identical homes increasing or decreasing in value based on where they are located. In today's housing market, where home prices are appreciating quickly, it's important to know that not every home appreciates at the same rate. I shared a map earlier that demonstrates the point of state by states using data from the National Association of Realtors, estimating the median home values. Are you ready for California? Now, this is not just Orange County. I'll tell you Orange County in a minute. But California median home value, $522,000. $522,000. One of the highest in the country. Hawaii's at $638,000. I think they're the only one that, if I'm looking quickly here, I think Hawaii is the only place, actually Washington, D.C., $606,000. I think those are the only ones that are higher than California. Now, I have the report card for me for Orange County. Are you ready for this one? Should I ask the team to get me the drums out right now? Yeah, maybe we'll do that. What the heck? Orange County, California, $813,930. Median home price, if you average over 43 years, 5.08% is the average annual appreciation going back for the last 43 years. Demand often... Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. Even with the decline in the market.
Right. All these different, all the declines over the last 43 years.
Oh my gosh.
Demand often dictates value, even for houses in the same area of the country. High demand for starter and trade-up homes have driven prices up in these categories by nearly 10% over the past year, while those in premium markets have appreciated at closer to 6%. If you're wondering about buying or selling, boy, again, I shared this in the last segment. Cost of waiting analysis, I'd be happy to send you one for your given property, your given market, whatever you're looking for. They look at that and compare it, and they do a very good job with our team. They look at what is the average square footage. So we know that for Orange County, the average price or the median price per square foot is $425. You could extrapolate the numbers back and forth, figure out what the cost per square foot is of a rental, then bring that back to the same square footage for the property you're looking at, and they give you a whole host of different numbers. But that's just 5-year gain, $250,000 for Orange County, California. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by our area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. We've been chatting this morning with Lynda Eisenmann. We're chatting here about strategies to get your offer accepted. Part of it comes from, sounds like to me, as we started in the last segment, a lot of it has to do with education.
Absolutely.
Right, knowing what you can put on that. So that contract, in addition from what I gleaned in the last segment, is I can use that contract, even though it's that blueprint that you talked about for the transaction, but I can use that to differentiate myself from somebody else who's making an offer.
Well, you can, because most consumers, most buyers in particular, think it's always about price. And I can tell you how important the price is to a home seller, but it's not always just about price. I don't think there's an agent out there who hasn't had a situation to where maybe a seller has accepted a little different price and not necessarily the highest offer because of other compelling reasons. And those are the things that are so important. And you asked me in the last segment whether or not I review this contract ahead of time with a home seller, and I do, because I want them to understand as much as they can in advance prior to an offer coming in or multiple offers. And you also want to review this with buyers even the very first time or the second time that you meet them. You want to give them a copy of it. You want people to be able to have sort of an understanding, because there's a lot really that goes into this contract, which is, like I said, the blueprint for your transaction. It's a legal document. It's a binding document, but there are so many what I call contingencies, and the contingencies are usually protections. Those contingencies are typically protections for the home buyer, and those contingencies are kind of safety nets, so to speak. And what I mean by that is, further back within the 10 pages here, these contingencies are spelled out for home buyers. And some of the biggest contingencies, and there's usually three big really rocks when it comes to an offer. And I just had this discussion with a home seller the other day, and I said, well, we've already overcome three of the biggest hurdles in your transaction with your home buyer that we're currently in escrow with. They had an accepted offer. The offer came in over asking price. I said our three biggest things are the buyer's loan, the pre-approval. And that's where you come in, because having a strong lender ahead of time that gives you more than just a one-page letter on letterhead,
right,
that says the loan is approved. I mean, to me, that is absolutely, irrespective of everything else, absolutely essential, knowing that you actually have a full loan approval on your home buyer, because that's one of the big rocks that you have to overcome, or a seller is concerned about when you're in escrow.
What are the contingencies?
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Those are the buyer's safety nets. After the loan approval, the appraisal is typically another one, and the third one can be the property inspection. And the appraisal and the property inspection, the time periods for those are also spelled out in the contract. And there's some default answers. And usually the default answers are the ones that are stretched out for the longest period of time. If you have a knowledgeable home buyer and you're working with a great lender, you can typically shorten some of those times. And the times that you're going to shorten would be your home inspection. Instead of waiting for the entire 17 or 21 days that a buyer has to satisfy some of those contingencies, you might want to shorten some of those. You might want to shorten them to 10 days, for example. And if you're a home buyer who's working with a great agent, you'll be able to have access to home inspectors. You'll be able to have access to other professionals that you might need. For example, 2 weeks ago we had a situation where we had an offer that came in, multiple offers over asking, and fortunately the buyer had their home inspector out there within 3 days, which was great. But that home inspector called for subsequent inspections. So we had a roofing inspection, we had a plumbing inspection, and we actually had a sewer line issue that we dealt with. And we dealt with all of those in the first 9 days that we were in escrow. And you want to get those things all done in advance, because those are contingencies. So if you're a home buyer and you're working with a knowledgeable agent, you might be able to shorten some of those contingencies. Now, you need enough time for your own due diligence.
Sure.
You don't want to make something 3 days or 5 days. You want enough time to get people out there, and that's important. And these are all things that you can talk to your realtor about ahead of time.
That's part of that. What you're saying there, Lynda, is something that I'm a big proponent of. Is you have to get that information going, and if you're, if I'm a consumer out there looking to buy a house, I have no clue who to talk to as a home inspector, and I don't have a roofing guy, and I don't have a sewer person. right? So the great realtors that have experience and market knowledge, not some of these online services where they're sending somebody out that got their license yesterday, right? You've got this experience, so you can call up John Hammond and say, hey John, I need an inspection. How quickly can you get out? And when you've got that relationship, he doesn't want to disappoint you.
They'll do their best to accommodate you as much as possible. You and I have talked about inspections once before, and one of the issues that I personally have with inspections is I do like the buyers to make their own decision. However, I will be able to give buyers samples, redacted reports that they can review.
Sure.
And I also send them a link to CREA, which is a California Inspection of Real Estate California Inspectors Association, and there's a lot of good information on there. And if the buyer wants to select somebody from that website, that's fine. And if not, like I said, we have different samples that they can look at that are redacted that are similar. And if somebody's buying a condo, I want them to see what condo inspections look like. If they're buying an older property, let's say something that's built in the 40s or 50s, we want to be able to provide them with inspections of homes that might be of the same era, the same generation, so to speak. But they make the decision. But working with an agent ahead of time, getting that is very helpful.
And obviously, in order to have those, you have to have gone through several inspections yourself.
And if you don't, there's probably other people. Go to your broker, go to your manager, and other people may or may not. Sometimes people say, oh, I have my own inspector. Well, I don't have my own inspector. There's a series of inspectors that my clients work with.
Interesting. And one of the things when we come back, what I want to chat about is we've been talking with some folks in Dallas that actually do a certified pre-owned home. Mm-hmm. We're going to chat about that with Lynda when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Lynda Eisenmann. We're going to also chat a little bit Amazon Prime Day. What do you need to know about that? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report, it is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solutions for you. Amazon Prime Day, what's that all about? Why would we even be talking about Amazon Prime Day? Well, Amazon's now, I guess, the biggest retailer in the country. What do you need to know about it? They're talking about Amazon Prime Day. I think it's the 17th is what they're looking at of July. Crazy thinking about all these going shopping. Around the corner, an annual shopping extravaganza once again offers hundreds of thousands of deals that are exclusively for Prime members. Prime Day was the online retailer's best sales day in history last year, even over Black Friday. Can you believe that one? So we're going to be highlighting some of the information as we go through the day. What is Prime Day? It dates back to 2015. The summertime equivalent to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It gets bigger every year and expanded to 13 countries. New deals go live as often as every 5 minutes on Prime Day, with a few deals offered the week before. If you find a lightning deal that you like, do a quick price comparison and order it before it's gone. It will be gone quickly, so you got to watch out for that. They don't keep them on there forever. Use the Amazon app to watch deals and get notifications when they start. Amazon says tens of millions of Prime members made a purchase on Prime Day in 2017, more than 50% higher than the year before. What will it be today? When will Amazon Prime Day be? Well, they're looking at July 17th, July 16th and 17th, by 36 hours of deals. So we'll keep you updated on all of that. What are the best Prime Day deals? Well, the most popular one last year was the Echo Dot, which was on sale at $34.99. If you're looking for a new TV, Element 55-inch 4K might be there. A lot of good stuff. You got to watch out for that one. Might have to take the day off that day and just sit home. Be like a holiday, right?
I guess so.
A shopping holiday. Shopping holiday, right? They say Black Friday is a holiday too, right? And you don't even have to worry about getting trampled at the mall. Got to be a Prime member, so make sure you're watching that one. I know they're raising the prices on Prime membership. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, again brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. We're continuing our conversation this morning. Lynda Eisenmann is in the house. We are learning about some special or strategies to get your offer accepted in a competitive market. So Lynda, I was talking about before the break, I wanted to get your opinion on this certified pre-owned process. You know, we're used to that with cars where they go through a multi-point checklist, and you know that if you're going to buy a used car, you get a certified pre-owned, and supposedly they've done all that work ahead of time. Do you ever come across sellers that end up wanting to have a home inspection done to try and minimize the request for repairs?
That at times sellers will have an inspection done ahead of time, and just for that purpose. But that does not eliminate the buyers obtaining their own independent physical inspection.
Okay, good.
And quite frankly, I think if the seller has one, then yes, they should furnish that information, and that can be very helpful. However, I still believe that the buyers need to obtain their own, because number one, you don't know the level of competence of that prior inspector.
Sure.
And so I just think it's better for the buyers to obtain their own. And I also like to have my buyers present while the inspector is there, during the physical inspection.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There was
for the whole time?
Yes, usually 2 to 3 hours, typical, depending upon the size of the home. But there is so much information to be provided, and at the very end, the inspector will usually give a verbal recap that is followed up by a written report. And there are times that inspectors are able to explain a situation to a home buyer and a home seller, if the seller's present at the recap, explain the situation verbally, so when they have it explained firsthand, in person, it may not be as scary as it sounds on the report itself.
Those reports can be pretty scary.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And getting that right from the inspector right then, and most inspectors are fine with a very short recap at the end, and they'll say, you know, you're going to get your report within 24 hours, and if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to follow up. And they do. The vast majority of the inspectors are very good about that. But when it comes to the inspection, I like to have my buyers present.
Okay. So what other strategies have we missed?
Well, we started out when we said it wasn't just about price. The pre-approval, though, is essential.
Okay.
And then you're looking, as a realtor representing a home seller, I'm looking at contingencies, how long those contingency periods are, whether or not we can shorten the contingency for the appraisal, we can shorten the contingency for inspections, whatever it might be, and even association documents. The buyers who are buying in a development that has an association, whether it's a condo or any type of PUD, within our California contract, there's a period of time in which the seller has to provide the documents and the buyer has a right to approve. And the earlier that you can order those, the better off you are to provide those to a buyer. And it sounds like there's a lot to go through, and there really is. Typically the first 10 days that you're in escrow, there's a lot for a buyer to do. But I think one of the things that we need to remember is selling a home can also be very, very personal. And what I mean by that is the traditional home seller who may have been in a home 7 to 10 years has had a lot of life experiences in a home. And there's a lot of buyers who've probably heard it's a good idea to write the home seller a letter.
Right.
And while some agents may poo-poo it, it can be beneficial. I'll give you 2 examples. We had this one we just accepted 2 weeks ago with multiple offers. The sellers absolutely loved the buyers, even though they had never met the buyers. They loved the buyers based on the buyer's letter. The buyers literally described what their life was going to be like in that home. What room they were going to use for this, what room they were going to use for the music room, what room, in particular the kitchen that had been beautifully remodeled, and how much they love having their friends over. And I can tell you that really meant a lot to that particular home seller. It wasn't the final answer, but it was very, very important. It was one of the elements of getting that offer accepted.
So that was, even though I promote all the time that the seller needs to divorce themselves of the property, it's not their home. Once they sign that contract, I propose that it's not your home any longer. It's an asset that you're looking to maximize the value of. But that's not easy.
Well, you're a numbers guy too.
Right.
You have to remember that you're a financial guy.
Right.
And for a lot of people, you know, the home is everything.
Yeah, it's your castle.
Absolutely.
Right. That's where your kids may have grown up. That's where you may have gotten married, or
you brought the new baby home. It's the first place that your child was living in when you brought that baby home from the hospital.
Right.
I'll give you an example of one I had not too terribly long ago. I had my my buyers. They actually asked me, Lynda, should we be writing a love letter? And I said about the home, and I said absolutely. And I said, if you can, include a photo. And she emailed me her letter. And she said, I have to ask you about this photo. She said, it's a picture of us and the 2 little children in front of the Christmas tree. And she said to me, she said, do you think it's a little cheesy? And I said, well, yeah, I do. But if that's what you have, let's go with it.
Sure.
Their offer was accepted. And I have to tell you that when we did the home inspection, the buyers were there for the home inspection. The agent was a relative of the seller who had passed away. Actually, I think it was his mother's home now that I think about it. And he said to the buyers at the home inspection, when I saw that letter of your family, and and I saw that Christmas tree. This is exactly where my mother, or what I think it was her mother, put our Christmas. I want to walk you in here and show you where we had our Christmas tree.
Nice.
And you could have knocked me over with that.
Sure.
The photo that I thought was very cheesy was very, very helpful and turned out to be very important to this home seller.
It touched a nerve.
Go figure, yeah.
Yeah, it touched a nerve. And you know something, that's the idea there. I mean, we know that sales, and calling a spade, I mean, real estate is a sales business, right? And there's a seller trying to maximize their value and a buyer trying to get what they want as well. So the whole idea here is if you can get an emotional connection between the buyer and the seller, they both feel good about it.
Absolutely.
And you end up with a win-win at the end of the day. That's really the beauty of it. There's just a few strategies, and I'm sure I'm just going to throw this shameless plug out there. Look at all the great information that Lynda gave us on air today, and my guess, just as a guess, there's a whole lot more that we didn't have time to share. So if you want to get your offer accepted, give Lynda a call and work with her on going out and looking at new homes. Just a shameless plug there.
Thank you. Thank you for the shameless plug.
Right? I mean, that's the whole idea, is helping people. And I think that's what Lynda and I share in common here, is we're out there, you know, we do want to make a living, but the bottom line is we're out there trying to help people and educate people and get people to enjoy life and enjoy what the real estate world has to offer from an educated standpoint. And that's why I ask you every day, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items that affect your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today, and of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun, have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.